Alright guys, sorry my video cut off on me. So this is part 2 of module 16. We just finished the math warm-up. Now we are on to concept development. If you guys can go ahead and write down concept development for me and what I have right here. What I have in orange in this green, you guys can scribble that off. I've kept these math notes from last year and some stuff is pertains to last year's students, so don't worry about writing that down. But I would like you to write down concept development, 420 divided by 10. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4. These things are called discs of 100. And then 2 discs of 10 divided by 10 with an arrow sign. So go ahead and write that down for me. If you need to pause the video, feel free to do that. Okay, but remember today on our table of contents, I said we're using division by powers of 10. Now there's 2 ways that I'm going to teach you to divide by powers of 10. This first way is Eureka way, okay? It's the way that our Eureka math program wants us to teach it to you, which is totally fine. If this is the way that works best for you, then by all means, go ahead and use this strategy. That's why I'm teaching it to you. After I teach it to you this way, though, I'm going to teach you my way. So there's a Eureka way and there's a Mrs. Duncan's way. So we're going to go ahead and get started by dividing 420 by 10. And I drew some discs out. I have 4 discs of 100, 100, 200, 300, 400, hence 400. And then I have 2 discs of 10, 10, 20, hence 20, or 2 in the tens place. Now I'm going to be dividing that by 10. To divide it by 10, I need to see how many times this 10 can go into each one of these discs, okay? So I'm going to start with my highest values, my 100 discs. So 10 can go into 100 10 times. So 10 can go into 100 10 times. 10 groups of 10 go into 100. Count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 10 groups of 10 go into 100. So I'm going to write that 10 over here. Same goes right here. 10 goes into this group of 100 10 times as well. What about these 2 groups of 100? Same thing. 10 goes into this 100 10 times. So my 10 is going to go right here. And then 10 goes into this 100 10 times as well. Okay? So 10 has gone into each disc of 100 10 times. But I'm not quite done yet. I need to see now how many times 10 can go into these other 2 discs right here. How many times can 10 go into one group of 10? Well, I know 10 can go into a group of 10 one time. How many times can 10 go into this group of 10? Well, 10 can go into that group of 10 also. One time. So I've redrawn my discs over here after they've been divided by 10. Well, how many do I have left? Let's check it out. I have 10, 20, 30, 40. I have 4 groups of 10, so I know I have 40. And then I have 2 groups of 1 plus 2. Well, my quotient, or my answer to this division problem, is 40 plus 2, which is just 42. So over here, my quotient of 420 divided by 10 is just 42. Now again, if you need to pause this at any time to get caught up with your math notes, please go ahead and do so. But it's very important that you guys are writing this down, because if you are writing it down, it's helping your brain comprehend everything you're listening to. Okay? So when you divide by the Eureka way and using discs, you have to see how many times this number can go into each one of my discs. Now again, this is the Eureka way. Now I'm going to teach you my way, Mrs. Duncan's way. So go ahead and write out Mrs. Duncan's way. And then after you write that out, I want you to write in, I'm trying to keep all this covered here. I want you to write in this little bubble that I have, cross out the zeros they share. So go ahead and write down Mrs. Duncan's way, cross out the zeros they share. Go ahead and write that down for me. Again, pause it if you need to. After you do that, we're going to start looking at our first problem. So now our first problem is 24,000 divided by 600. Okay? Now if I wanted to draw discs out, I could. I could draw out discs. I would draw out lots of my 100 or my thousands discs, and I would go through dividing it like the Eureka way. However, sometimes it's just easier to cross out the zeros they share. And this only works when we're dividing by groups of 10. And by groups of 10, I mean anything that ends in zeros, where they both have to end in zeros. Well, there are 3 zeros in this number, 2 zeros in this number. They share 2. So every 0 I cross out here, I have to cross that one out here. Every 0 I have here, I also have to cross out here. I cannot cross out this third 0 because I don't have a third 0 right here. They only share 2 zeros. Okay? Now I just have 240 divided by 6. Okay? Well, I know 24 divided by 6 is 4. I know 6 times 4 is 24. And then there's 1 0 left over. So I'm going to put that 0 right there. So my quotient, or my answer to my division problem, is 40. Okay, let's try another one of those. And you're writing this down for me? I have 1,600 divided by 100. 1,600 divided by 100. And I want to cross out the zeros they share. Well, here's 1 0. Here's 1 0. Here's another 0. Here's another 0. In this case, they share the same amount of zeros. So that makes it pretty simple for us. I just have to say now, what's 16 divided by 1? Well, 16 broken up into one group is still going to be 16. I don't have to put any zeros because I don't have any leftover zeros. Okay? Let's try number 4. I have 180,000 divided by 9,000. I'm going to cross out those zeros they share. So here's a 0, here's a 0. Here's a 0, here's a 0, here's a 0, here's a 0. I have 1 0 left. And now I have 18 divided by 9. 18 divided by 9 is 2. Okay, and I have 1 0 left. So I'm going to put that 0 right here. So my quotient is going to be 20. Okay. Number 5, my last one for this problem, or for our math notes today, not this problem, I should say. I have 560,000 divided by 700. I'm going to start by crossing out those zeros that they share. Here's 1 0. Here's another. Here's a second 0. Here's a second one. There are 2 zeros left over. Well, I have 56 divided by 7. If I don't know what 56 divided by 7 is, that is a basic math fact. I'm going to pull out my little chart for me. Okay, again, this is here to help you. I'm going to look at my 7. Zoom in a little bit here. Autofocus that so you can see it a little clearer. There we go. Let me turn this light off so you guys can see it. There we go. 7. I'm going to go all the way to see, oh, there's 56. And if I go straight up, I'm going to get 8. So I know that 56 divided by 7 is going to be 8. And there are 2 zeros left. So I'm going to add those 2 zeros to my final quotient. So 560,000 divided by 700 is 800. So that is how we go about dividing by powers of 10. There are 2 different ways to do it. The first way to do it is by using base or discs, if you want to draw out the discs. Or you can cross out the zeros they share. I personally prefer this way. I just feel it's less time consuming. But again, you can choose the other way if you'd like. Once you guys are done with this, you do have, let me pull it up here. Ooh. Let me show you guys